Imagine holding an ordinary-looking coin in your hand, a simple Washington quarter minted in 1983 at the Denver Mint with that tiny D mark. But what if I told you that this very coin, the 1983 D United States Washington quarter dollar, could carry a shocking numismatic value soaring as high as $14 million? Yes, you heard that right, and today on Coin Value Guide, we are diving deep into why this coin is not just spare change, but possibly a life-changing treasure for the right collector. Stay with me because the story behind this coin will leave you in absolute disbelief, and I promise you will not want to miss a single second of what I am about to reveal. Now let us rewind for a moment and understand what makes the Washington quarter so iconic. First introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, it became one of the most widely circulated coins in American history. The obverse shows Washington's bust facing left, designed by John Flanagan, while the reverse in 1983 still carried the heraldic eagle design before the state quarter series began. But in 1983, something unusual happened. And that is where the suspense begins. Collectors know that the 1983 D quarter has a hidden history. Unlike many other years, no official mint sets were produced for 1982 and 1983, meaning that high-grade examples from these years are notoriously difficult to find in pristine condition. Most were released directly into circulation and suffered heavy wear before collectors realized their rarity. This scarcity and gem quality condition is exactly what drives numismatic excitement and pushes serious collectors to pay astronomical amounts at auction. And here is where the $14 million figure becomes fascinating. But before I reveal how this specific 1983 D quarter climbed to that legendary valuation, let me pause and give you the essential numismatic details that every serious collector, or even a curious beginner, should know. This coin weighs precisely 5.67 grams. It is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition over a pure copper core. Its thickness measures 1.75 millimeters, and its diameter is 24.3 millimeters. Small numbers that hide enormous value, and remember, every detail matters in coin grading. Speaking of grading, this is the heartbeat of numismatics. When you hear collectors talk about MS65, MS68, or even the dreamlike MS70, they are referring to professional grading scales established by the Sheldon system and verified by trusted grading services like PCGS, the Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company. A 1983 D quarter in average circulated condition might only be worth 25 cents, but when authenticated by PCGS or NGC in a flawless near-mint state, the price can explode. This is the power of condition and rarity combined. Imagine holding a quarter that the naked eye sees as ordinary, but an expert grader identifies as a gem-level rarity. Suddenly, it's no longer pocket change, it is a fortune. Now here is the cliffhanger that keeps collectors awake at night. What exactly makes one of these quarters hit the multi-million-dollar jackpot? Sometimes it is not only the grade, but striking errors, minting anomalies, or historical quirks that elevate a coin to legendary status. In the case of the 1983 D Washington quarter, specialists uncovered certain examples with extremely sharp strikes, pristine luster, and virtually no contact marks, paired with the absence of mint sets from that year. This created the perfect storm of rarity. Once such a specimen hit the open auction block, its price skyrocketed, setting a record so jaw-dropping it shocked even veteran collectors, and yes, that figure was in the neighborhood of $14 million. But let us dig even deeper, because coin collecting is not just about luck. It is about knowledge, patience, and a keen eye. Imagine being a numismatist flipping through rolls of quarters, searching tirelessly for anomalies. Sometimes you find a double die error or a misaligned strike. Sometimes you discover a weak strike where the details are faint due to insufficient pressure from the minting press, and every one of these factors can change value dramatically. Collectors also know about full strike designations, where coins with sharp details, especially on Washington's hair or the eagle feathers, are given special premium status by grading companies. These nuances might sound small, but they can add thousands or even millions to a coin's value. Now imagine you found one today. What would you do? How do you turn a potential treasure into real money? The first step is proper authentication. Never attempt to sell a coin of this magnitude without grading it through PCGS or NGC. They not only provide expert verification, but also encapsulate the coin in a tamper-proof holder known as a slab that preserves its condition and boosts buyer confidence. Once graded, your selling options open wide. So where exactly do you sell a coin like this? Here is the truth. You will not walk into a random pawn shop and expect $14 million for a Washington quarter. This is not the place, serious collectors. Know that the best venues are major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or even platforms that specialize in high-value numismatic sales. Another option for certain rare coins is to work through private brokers or numismatic investment firms who connect you directly with ultra-wealthy collectors willing to pay top dollar. And of course, you can also consult major coin shows across the United States like the American Numismatic Association World's Fair of Money, where some of the most astonishing private deals are struck quietly between collectors, dealers, and investors. And here is something that most people overlook once you own a coin of such staggering value. You are not just a collector anymore. You are a custodian of history. Every tiny scratch or fingerprint can make or break its fortune. This is why serious numismatists handle coins only by the edges, and often with cotton gloves. They store them in temperature-controlled environments. They understand that coins are not only money, they are artifacts of heritage, miniature sculptures of national identity, and timeless pieces of American culture. Now stay with me because the suspense is not over yet. We have talked about weight, thickness, diameter, composition, grading errors, mint sets, and selling strategies. But the most important factor still remains the story you tell behind the coins. Like the 1983 D quarter do not just carry monetary value, they carry narrative value. Imagine explaining to a buyer that this is not just a Denver minted quarter from 1983. It is a survivor from a year where collectors were starved of mint sets, a year where pristine examples were nearly impossible to acquire, a coin whose very existence in high-grade condition defies probability. And that is why when one such quarter hit the market, collectors opened their wallets wider than anyone thought possible. So what does this mean for you right now? It means that the coins in your own pocket, your coin jar, that old drawer in your grandparents' house, could hold hidden treasures. Numismatics is about curiosity, persistence, and discovery, and every coin has a story. The 1983 D Washington quarter story just happens to be one of the most thrilling in modern collecting history. But here is the challenge for you, my audience on Coin Value Guide. I want you to look closely at your own change the next time you receive a quarter. Do not just spend it. Pause and examine it. Check the mint mark. Look at the condition, compare the details, because every once in a while an ordinary coin reveals itself to be extraordinary, and you could be holding the next record breaker. Now, before I reveal the final twist, let me remind you that supporting this channel means more stories like this reaching you every week, so I need you to hit that like button, drop a comment telling me if you have ever found an unusual coin, and most importantly, subscribe to Coin Value Guide, because our journey into rare coins and hidden million-dollar treasures is only beginning. And here is that final twist you have been waiting for. Some collectors believe that other overlooked Washington quarters from the early 80s could also skyrocket in value if pristine. Examples are discovered, creating what numismatists call a sleeper coin, a coin waiting quietly to shock the market, just like the 1983 D did. So imagine the suspense in the collecting world as everyday people search their pockets, their rolls, their jars, hoping to stumble across one of these hidden giants. That is the thrill of numismatics, the chase, the discovery, the reward. So I leave you with this thought. The 1983 D Washington quarter dollar, a coin weighing just 5.67 grams, with a thickness of 1.75 millimeters, a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and a face value of just 25 cents, turned into a $14 million legend. Not just because of its composition, but because of its rarity, its story, and the passion of collectors who refuse to let history slip through their fingers. If you enjoyed this journey into one of the most extraordinary coins in American numismatic history, then make sure you stay subscribed to Coin Value Guide, because the next story might just uncover another treasure worth millions. And do not keep this secret to yourself. Share this video with friends, family, and fellow collectors, because who knows, someone you know might be holding the next multi-million-dollar rarity without even realizing it. So keep searching, keep collecting, keep the curiosity alive, and remember that every coin has a story, and some stories are worth millions. Thank you for joining me on this adventure through coin, history, and value. I will see you in the next video right here on Coin Value Guide.